These dreams are sweeter with you next to me. Caught in the danger, but it's ecstasy. And can we take a moment just, 'cause I want to.
Welcome back to Between the Takes. Thank you guys so much for checking this out. My name is Jared. I am here with Soul Food. Soul Food, why don't you guys introduce yourself? The grocery aisle, what are all the ingredients of Soul Food?
All right, well, I'm Aziz.
My name's Tom. I play drums.
I'm Luke. I play bass.
I'm Robbie. I play sax and guitar.
Dude, the sax on the first song was tight. Why don't you remind me the name of the three songs real quick?
So the first song we did was Heaven. The second song we did was Sober. And the third song that we did was NYE.
Okay, yeah. Heaven was heaven with that sax. I'm not going to lie.
Thank you.
All three songs were a lot of fun. They were different. It's like a different vibe than I've had on a lot of the futon sessions. Like I keep saying that, but I think I'll stop saying it after a while, because after a while I'll have had a ton of different genres on. But seriously, your guys' stuff was a lot of fun. It was different doing a full band, all guitars that felt kind of soul, kind of like R&B, kind of rock, without a keyboard in it, especially.
Oh yeah,
which is kind of funny because when you told me the original input list, there was supposed to be a keys player.
Yeah,
things change.
Things change.
Yeah, he's just a guest character.
He missed this episode.
Yeah, he shows up when he can.
It happens. But thank you guys so much for coming out. You guys are actually coming out from Jersey. How long was the drive from that?
About an hour and a half, right?
Yeah, about
I think
an
it
hour
took
and a half.
us.
Yeah, it's about right.
Yeah,
Sheesh. Well, I appreciate you guys coming out immensely. Like, I'm glad we were able to make this work.
absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So why don't you give me a little history of Soul Food? Like, why the name Soul Food?
So I was a solo project like for, I want to say 8 or 9 years. And at some point I'm a mechanic. And while I'm working, I listen to a lot of chill music because the job is super stressful. And like, I don't want to be amping myself up and then also being stressed by the work. So I listen to chill music. And at some point, one of my coworkers was just like, you know, man, I'm going to start calling you Soul Food because all you listen to is soul music. And I was like, I kind of like that. So honestly, I tried it out for a little bit and it stuck. And I just never felt the need to change it. It just felt natural, and it felt cool because it was given to me. You know, I didn't come up with it, so
That's the vibe. I like that. That's pretty cool.
yeah. And then recently, I met everybody else. Like I think within the last 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
I think I met Robbie first at an open mic. He was playing guitar, and I was just like blown away by his style, and was just like, "Yo, I need you to play for me, please." Please. And then I met Tom at another gig that I did. He played for another band, and then afterwards we were talking. He's like, you know, you ever put something together, let me know. I got you. And then I went to a friend's show in Asbury, and Luke had recently moved into town, comes out to the show, sits next to me at the bar, and just we're chatting, like, and he's like, well, I play bass, and he's looking for a project, and I was like, well, I got a project. Like, I got a project for you. So yeah, it kind of all the dominoes just fell into place over the last few years. And this has been awesome so far.
That's tight. I was gonna say it would be cool to hear how everyone met, but that was it right there.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
it was very organic when I met Aziz.
Yeah, like everything
It was
just
like
happened.
I literally turned around at the bar. I was like, "How are you doing, man? Like, how's your day going?"
You had a face full of cheesesteak.
Oh yeah, you were munching on cheesesteak. I remember that now.
That's funny. The three songs that you did today, did you write those while this whole band was kind of like formed, or were those things that you made on your own and then brought in once the band came together?
Written on my own and then brought in once the band came together.
Gotcha. After doing music for so long, do you find that that's how pretty much all of your songs are at the moment, or have you guys started writing stuff together yet?
At the moment, it's all stuff that I've written. But the next few songs, I'm gonna start bringing everybody in, and then
Nice.
it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, or finding that organic method of songwriting is something I'm always curious about. So many bands do it so many different ways, and a lot of them are still in the stages of the singer wrote these when they were doing stuff on their own, and now it's trying to find a way to do it with everybody.
Yeah. It's tough making time for it, getting everybody in the same room. The way I'm thinking of it is like, I want to put demos together, and then like say I bring Robbie over one day and just let him tear it up and just be like, I don't like that, swap stuff around, and then let him put his input in there, and then bring Luke over, have him do the same thing, bring Tom over, have him do the same thing, and then once we've all had our input on it, like meet up again, and then it doesn't have to be in that order, but as people are free, just like, yo, come by and just listen to this idea and just go from there. I think trying to get everybody in one room is going to be tough. And then if we're working in a studio, you have limited time to get everybody's opinions out and get everybody's thoughts out. So I produce everything at home. So
it's good to get those demos done
Yeah.
before you're starting to spend money.
yeah.
We were talking about like how flexible and how much like you have to do in music these days. You were talking about how you hate being video editor.
Yeah, you
for
got to do
yourself.
everything. You have to do the videos. You got to do photography. You have to be a marketing director. You have to be everybody.
Yeah, it's either that or spend a lot of money. And even when you do it yourself, you end up spending a lot of money. Yeah, that's crazy. How do you guys feel like you do you guys have any tips, any input for people finding time to make all of it work while working full-time jobs? Because I know it's difficult when this isn't your full-time gig. It's hard to find the time. Like you're working 8 hours at least a day. You're dead by the time you want to go home, but then you're trying to make something happen in music.
Yeah. Anybody got some input?
I'd say, I mean, in this band, we all do our homework really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a big thing for us is like when we are rehearsing, that time is sacred and we know what we need to run through. And we come prepared every time. And because of that, we don't have to rehearse every week. A lot of bands are into that like routine of like this time of week, we're going to, get a 6-pack and jam or whatever we need to do. But we just meet up and magic happens because we all do our homework so well.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it. I think another part of the magic is that how we all vibe together and how we all get along. Like there's no drama or anything between us. Like we just get along and vibe.
We
Like,
just know our mission. Our mission is to make the best music we can. Aziz gives us a product and we try and produce the best sound that we can out of everything that we can do together, and just works out somehow. And once again, like everybody said, we do our homework.
Yeah. At-home dedication is the thing a lot of bands don't really think about that they got to do.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Yeah, I love that. Those are really good inputs and things that I think a lot of bands need to hear when they're first starting out, because it's not just a thing that you can do for fun if you want to take it seriously or be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many projects do you have out as the band so far? Have you put anything out with this group of guys, or is it still just kind of living on what you had before?
Still living on what I had before. I just put out the last 2 songs that I had written before, like forming everything. So now I have nothing really. I have ideas, but I have nothing demoed out yet. So now I can take a fresh step and start bringing everybody over and just start seeing what we come up with.
Nice. I was gonna say, I thought I checked your Spotify earlier. I could have sworn I saw that something came out this year, so I was curious. That's cool. I honestly, until you guys all pulled up, I thought it was a solo project and you just brought people in. But this makes way more sense now. Yeah, something I ask every now and then I'm always curious about. What is one of your guys' favorite shows that you've played? Like, do you have a favorite venue or show that you think
I mean, this
about?
is an easy
It's
answer.
got to be the Wild Air, right?
Yeah, Wild Air for
Wild Air
We did an
Brewery.
EP release show, and it was just, it's one of those core memory shows. It packed out. People were staring from the outside, and like, it was as good of a show as you can ever ask for. All your friends and family were there.
I'm getting goosebumps now that he's talking about it.
Ethereal, man. It was.
I got to hear about this then. Where was the show actually? What was the venue?
It's Wild Air Beer Works in Asbury Park.
Shout out to Asbury Park.
One of the best, music venues that's coming up right now in the town, and we ended up packing it out. Aziz built a good roster for the show,
Nice.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
and
great artist.
yeah, man, and every local had turned up for it. I think we chanted Kenny's name. Was it his birthday?
Yeah, it was Kenny's
Kenny's
birthday.
It was Kenny's birthday. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I'm curious, when you go about building your roster for a show that you're putting on, do you feel like you pull more of artists that you feel like are close to your genre, or do you try and spread out the genre style?
So luckily for us, we can kind of fit into any genre. If it comes to like roster, I think the furthest would be like if we're reaching, probably wouldn't do a metal show. But even if we did, I feel like we could turn the energy up enough to make it happen.
Gotcha.
So I kind of look for people who match the fusion. So you could either be on the R&B side of it or the rock side of it, the more rock and roll side of it, and even hip hop. I try to bring hip hop artists on. The last show that we put together, that release show, was hip hop artists, and it was awesome. You know, the next one that I'm putting together, we're doing more of a R&B and then like a rapper in the opening. But I do like to book with rock and roll artists, you know. So it's nice to be so versatile as a band because we can fit into any set and it sounds good for the most part.
Nice. Yeah, that is important, being adaptable, because like you said, it'll get you more shows because you can play with more people, but then also just the fact of it's easier for anyone else you play with's fans to want to become your fans.
Yeah, and I feel like we don't have to compromise our sound to do so. Like that's a really important thing, is we're not just trying to blend in. We can bring our own energy, our own sound into whatever room that we're in, and still match the energy without sacrificing our unique style.
Take it. That's tight. That's really cool. When was the release show? Like, when did the EP come out?
It was November, right?
Yeah, November.
Past November?
Yeah.
What was the name of it?
Homegrown.
Check out Homegrown. Homegrown from Soul Food. Now that you're past all that, do you guys feel like you already have a schedule or are super excited with what you want to do for the next set of songs you're going to put out? Do you have a plan, or is it still in the works?
No plan for the next few songs. Wanted to focus on getting booked and try to get some more live shows, and try to really push ourselves outside of our hometown. So that's been the mission right now.
Nice. That's really cool. I know a couple of different places. I'll try and connect you, and I know that they might even reach out after being on here that could probably get you some shows.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love to hear it.
We appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys were killer. Were the 3 songs that you did on the EP?
NYE was.
Not sober.
Not sober.
Yeah, sober was, but heaven was.
Sober was not, and heaven was. So
Yeah.
2 out of 3.
Okay, that's not bad. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Yeah, I don't know. You guys were just killer. It was a lot of fun to do the session. You're chill guys, laid back. Like it was just a fun session to have. When you guys run full deep for a live show, are there any other instruments that you bring on? I know you talked about there being a keys player and another vocalist, but what do you guys normally like to do?
Just this setup and then some backing tracks. And the backing tracks usually fill out, like there's keys in the backing tracks. But that's really it.
Nice.
And just fills out the room, you know?
Yeah. Do you guys have any tips for bands that run backing tracks or are thinking about doing it? Because I know you're not doing a crazy backing track setup, but sometimes even just like the left right is intimidating to
That's
people.
this guy. He's the master behind the
Mad
laptop.
scientist.
Yeah, it's been a really fun experience learning. It's something me personally, I've always known I was a better drummer with a click track, and then him giving me the opportunity to actually like craft our entire backtracks has been awesome. And it is very simple. You just get an audio splitter from left to right. You get a DI box. That one's going to go to the front of house. The other one's your in-ear monitor mix. You can either do it with a phone. You can do it with your laptop. I use the laptop because we do run some other things live with it, which is pretty cool. We'll have like ambient noises between songs, and then we plan to build our live sound too more with our backtracks rather than just being like, here's a track, here's a talk. It's like we want a whole experience throughout our live sets.
Yeah, you plan out the whole show. You don't just kind of wing it and leave it on him to just fill empty space.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a different level of preparation that I think is good for bands to think about. I was talking to someone who was I don't know if you guys are into poetry, spoken word. There was an artist that I was talking to who did some live shows with that, and he was talking about how he ties his pieces together. He doesn't just talk in between sets. He ties it together where you can't tell the finish of one and the beginning of another, or you can't tell when he begins the next piece, because he'll explain something into that piece and just tie it up so perfectly that the first line, you don't realize that the first line hit until he's like 4 bars in.
Yeah, that'd be a great thing, because I mean,
Yeah.
my man Aziz out here doing some great poetry between a lot of songs.
That's
live.
what we do. Yeah, we
It's a
do
big part of
poetry
our live
between
set.
sets or between songs, and like it works out so smoothly. Because my idea is, like you said, we want people to have an experience, and we want people to have an individual experience. So as I'm doing the poems, it's easy to tell people what the song is about. However, if you're giving them just like a poem or something else, just a philosophy or a perspective, it allows them to formulate their own opinion or their own vision of what this song could be about. It lets them really attach themselves to the song individually via their own life experiences. Instead of telling you, oh, this song is about this, now you can find something in your life that happened that you can relate to and form a better attachment to the song. And it's more of an experience in my eyes. And speaking of just poets that do the flowing in the verses in their poems, Rashad Wright does an amazing job at that. He's a poet from New Jersey. I just wanted to shout him out because big inspiration on the poetry thing.
Shout out Rashad. Make sure you send this to him. Let him
will.
know that he got shouted
yeah, I
out in
will.
between the takes. That's awesome. Well, thank you guys again. Thank you so much for making the drive, for putting the songs together, for you forming this into a band out of a solo project, for you guys coming in and taking it on. Seriously, all of you fantastic musicians. This was a lot of fun. Anything coming up that people can be watching for? I know certain sometimes pushing shows isn't great because this might come out after the show actually gets promoted, but anything that people should be checking out from you guys?
Just, I guess, follow us on Instagram. That is like the biggest thing you could do for us, because it'll keep you up to date. It'll keep you interacting with us. And just, get involved. It's Soul Food, S0ulfood NJ. And that's about it.
Yeah. Check out Soul Food. I'm going to try and have links down in the description. If they have a link tree, Instagram, Apple Music, Spotify, try to have all of that for all you guys. Check out the other 3 videos. Check out Heaven, Sober, and NYE. I'll have links for those in the description if you can't just find it off the channel. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys again for coming on. Please be sure to leave a like, comment if you have any questions, and subscribe. Let's go.
Gonna like, comment, and subscribe, baby.
Hello.
Thank you
Hit
guys.
the little bell on the side to get notifications.
I haven't got that far yet. Thank you. Click the bell for notifications. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time.
Bye.
Thank you.
When I'm sober, so can I call you in the morning when I'm sober and I need closure?